Okay, so this is the scoring for the first subtest, which is eye-hand coordination. So he completed the line from the mouse to the cheese inside the gray, and he did not pick up his finger or his pencil, so that would be considered a 1 for each segment that he got right. He did the same thing for 2, and then for 3, 4, and 5, you can actually get 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4 points. So 4 points is if he stays in the gray line and he makes it all the way around without picking up his pencil. And then you deduct points for every line that he goes outside of the gray line, either way. And how you measure is if you can see a white space between the white line and the gray line. So I don't think there's any on here, but I circled the parts where he picked up his pencil, and for those sections he gets a 0. So for here, if you zoom in, you can see a little white space between the line and the gray area. So that would be 3 points, so considered in the next line. So for each box, you count up all the scores, and then you get a total for each item, and then you total up those scores to get your raw score for section 1. Okay. Section 2, go to here. So this is copying. So we actually use the manual. They have, for each item, there's scores for 3, 2, 1, and 0. You have a visual that you can reference to kind of measure from what the child does and what the actual score is. So for each item, they get either a 3, 2, 1, or 0. So for each box, you can see all of his scores here. Then you add them up at the end, and that's your total raw score for subtest 2.
Okay, so for subtest 3, for figure ground, so the child can either score a 0, 1, 2, or 3 for each one. Let's see. So for each item that he chose an incorrect answer, we gave a 0, and I've circled them here. For each shape that he gets correct, you actually get 1 point. So you're going to add up all of the points to get the raw score for each one, which you get here. So it's going to be the same thing for the next subtest, visual closure. You're going to give 1 point for each correct answer, and you're going to give a 0 for any answers that were incorrect that he said. So then you're going to add up all the scores to get the raw score here. For the last section, you're going to do the same exact thing. You can get 0, 1, 2, or a 3, and you get a 0 for each incorrect score. You're going to add them all up to get these numbers here. So now that we have all of our raw scores, we're going to flip to the front of the examiner record booklet, and we are going to start filling it in. So we have his date-tested date of birth and his age, which is 6 years, 10 months, and 9 days. Now, we put all those raw scores from the other pages into these lines here for every single subtest. Now, we need to find the age equivalence. How we found that was you flip to page 58 or Appendix A, converting the raw score to age equivalent. Now, you're going to look at each subtest, find the raw score on here. So for eye-hand coordination, it was 165. Which is going to be right here. So you see here it says 165. It's going to be an age equivalence of 6 to 7 years old, which you put in this column here. And you're going to do the same thing for copying, figure ground, visual closure, and form constancy, which is how we got the age equivalence here. Now to find the percentile rank, you are actually going to flip to a different appendix. And it's gonna be, let's see, Appendix B, converting raw scores to percentile ranks and scaled score, which is how you're gonna get this column and this column. Now I already flipped through to his age, which is going to be right here on this page. Okay, so the raw score you're gonna find here, 165, which will be a percentile rank of 50%, which means that most children his age either got that same answer or scored below. Now that's how you find the percentile rank, and then you're going to go across the line to find the scaled score, which is 10. So as you can see here, we put 10 here, and you're going to do the same exact thing for copying, figure ground, visual closure, and form constancy. Now to find the descriptive term, it's actually going to be at the bottom of the page, section 4, descriptive terms. So he has a raw score of, or a scaled score, I'm sorry, of 10. So it's going to say average. Anything from 8 to 12 is going to be average, so all of his